What's up YouTube, it's Makunai1 here. Today I thought I'd bring you part 2 of my Bujin discussion, Shadow Specters edition. Bujins have got some more support in the latest set, so I thought I'd go over them today. The first one is Bujin Kagutsuchi. He's 1915 with 4 stars and he's Beast Warrior and Light. His effect reads, when a Beast Warrior type Bujin monster you control is destroyed by battle or by a card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. So if they get round your Yamato, you can just drop him and you will always have a Bujin Beast Warrior out, which is really important in this deck. This deck is effectively protect the Yamato, but now you have a backup play, which is nice. The second part of his effect is, during the end phase, if a Bujin monster was sent from your hand to the graveyard this turn, you can add one Bujin spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, and you can only control one Kagutsuchi. So if you have him and, say, Yamato up, you can add something with Yamato, pitch one of the vessels which you want in the graveyard, then get another search off of Kagutsuchi. So having Kagutsuchi and Yamato up at the same time is really good. The second card is Bujin Relic Yatta. This is another form of Habakiri by the looks of it. It's level 4 light winged beast with 1700 attack and 800 defense. This effect reads, when a Bujin Beast Warrior type monster you control is targeted for an attack by an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target the attacking monster, negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half that target's attack. You can only activate one of them per turn. This seems a little lackluster to me. If you've got this live, then you should probably have added like a Habakiri instead and just beaten over the thing and destroyed it. It's nice for some burn, I guess, but I think for most situations you'd prefer to just outright destroy your opponent's monster. So I'm personally not running Yatta. The next card is Bujin Relic Hachi. It's a beast light 4-star monster with 1700 attack and 500 defense. It's kind of weird that it's got a beast typing. It looks more like an insect because it's like a centipede kind of thing, but I suppose it fits with the rest of the archetype. Its effect reads, if you control a Bujin Beast Warrior type monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one spell or trap card your opponent controls and destroy that target. You can activate the effect of one Bujin Relic Hachi per turn. So this is the counterpart to Murakumo from the last set. Now you can just pop your opponent's set card so you don't have it up into a D-prison, which is the worst scenario in this deck, to be honest. Yeah, I run 2 Hachi, I think, in the deck. This added poppage, now no real card on the field is safe from me popping. Actually no, face down monsters you can't hit just yet, but that's not too much of a problem. The next one is Bujin Relic Ikuta. It's level 4 light beast with 1100 attack and 1900 defense. If you control a Bujin monster, so it's not limited to just Beast Warriors, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face-up attack position monster your opponent controls. Change that target to face-up defense position, and if you do, its defense becomes 0. It's not bad in that it's a bit more generic than Murakumo, but most of the time, especially now you have another Beast Warrior to go into in Kagutsuchi, you might as well just go Murakumo and just pop the monster. So, although it does marry quite nicely with the last new monster, Bujin Relic Ohabari. This is a level 4 light winged beast with 1600 attack and 300 defense. During your main phase 1, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one Bujin monster you control. During this turn, if it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Again, you have things which just outright destroy your opponent's monsters, so I personally don't run this. This is even worse than, was it from Judgment, Orochi, which allows your monster to attack directly. But yeah, kind of a bit lackluster, Ohabari. And it gets one new spell called Mirrored Resonating Bujin. At the start of your main phase 1, if you control a Beast Warrior type Bujin monster and your opponent's monsters on the field outnumber your monsters on the field, until your opponent's next end phase, neither player can activate spell or trap cards or spell or trap effects. So it's kind of like a cold wave. I guess it could be good if you're going into like a Susanoo play, sees into that, play this, attack everything without fear. But again, it's a little bit too situationally good, so I'm not running one. Although it is searchable with Kagutsuchi, which is always nice. And they get one new Bujin Emperor, which is Kagutsuchi. It's rank 4 light Beast Warrior, requiring 2 level 4 Beast Warrior type monsters. Now, this is quite difficult to build in, quite difficult to make in a regular Bujin build, but with a small Fire Fist engine, which I'll cover in a minute, it's quite easy to make, and I make this more than Susanoo. But it's a 2500 attack, 2000 defense, so it's reasonably big. Same stats as Utopia. When this card is Ixi's summoned, send the top 5 cards of your deck to the graveyard. This card gains 100 attack for each Bujin card sent to the graveyard to activate this effect. This includes your spell and trap cards. And is useful for getting like Murakumos and Hachis and Hetsukas and stuff into the grave, which is all good. Second part of its effect reads, if a Beast Warrior type Bujin monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can detach one Ixi's material from this card instead of destroying one of those monsters. So it's a beat stick that mills you the stuff you want to the graveyard and protects the stuff, including itself, so it's kind of like a Maestroke. This card is pretty dumb, especially because you can make it with things like Bear and Yamato, or a card which I've been using a lot in this deck is Wolfberk. You just go Wolfberk, bring back like a Bear or another Wolfberk, go straight into this beat face. You do have to be careful if you're going into more than one of these not to deck yourself out. I haven't done it yet, but I've come extremely close. Because obviously there's 5 cards and you have no choice. But it has potential to go up to 3k, just with its own effect, and it gets boosts from Tenki and Tensu. So this thing's gonna beat some serious face. Okay, this is the build I've been testing on YGO Pro. As you can tell, it's fairly monster heavy, but your Murakumos and Hetsukas and Hachis and all stuff like that is basically spell and trap cards anyway. It's like the whole Valor argument. It's basically another trap in terms of functionality. Right. For the main deck, I run 3 Kagutsuchi, 3 Yamato. You do have to run kind of as many Beast Warriors as you can. This has some similarities with like Infernity requiring no hand. This requires you to have a Beast Warrior as much of the game as possible. Then I run 2 Hetsuka. You can bump up to 3, although I don't actually really need the 3rd most games. Although I do see some people running 3, and that's perfectly fine. You don't want to run any less than 2. I run 2 Hachi, 2 Murakumo, 3 Habakiri, which is insanely broken, 2 Fire Fist Bear, because you run Tenkis and all the good stuff, and who doesn't love popping more stuff. Then I'm trying out 3 Wolfbuck. This is good because you mill stuff with Kagutsuchi, so you're pretty much always guaranteed to have a target. And if you open like this and a bear or a second Wolfbuck, you can add stuff with Yamato and then pitch the Fire Beast Warrior that you have spare. Then this is live for you to go into Tiger King or whatever else. So yeah, Wolfbuck is silly. 2 Maxi, 2 Vela, sort of standard. Don't really need to go over why particularly. And then I run on Honest, because all the Bujins are light. For spells, Reborn, Dark Hole, Storm, Triple Tenki, 1 Tensu. Tensu just allows you to get all your pushes on, like allows you to get Yamato and Mikasuchi out at the same time, for you to get your searches and all that good stuff. 2 Lance, 2 MST. It's tempted to cut something for a 3rd Lance, but I can't really decide what to cut. Yeah. 1 War God Advent, or Rise of the Bujin, whatever it's called now. And 1 Bujin Armament Apparition. I run 1 of each because they're situationally very useful, and you can search them with Mikasuchi, so you always have something to search. Just so if you arrive in one of the situations where they're good, you have them. But yeah, I don't think you really need more than 1 of each. And then I run 2 Threatening Roll. Just another protection for Yamato. I think something I'm trying out as well, which isn't in this build, is Pinpoint Guard. I love that card. I think if you know me in real life, you know I love it. Just to bring back bears and Yamatos and Mikasuchis and Wolfbucks and stuff. But I'm sort of favouring the more monster heavy build, and if you try and put it in the monster heavy build, it just gets MST'd. So yeah, I'll try a trap heavy build and I'll profile if it's any good. But for the extra deck, 2 Kagutsuchi, 2 Susanoo, 1 Tiger King, Utopia, Omega, Shockmaster, Direwolf, Paladinimo, Maestroke, Dweller, Cowboy, Emerald, and Pat. Just bear with me for a moment, I'll record some duels and edit them in, so you can see kind of my reasonings behind the ratios and stuff. So yeah, be back in a minute. Right, I've recorded a couple of duels against, one against Judgment Day Prophecy and the other against Frogknock. So let's hope this works. Right, I opened reasonably well. I opened Tenki, Yamato, Advent, Maxi, just answers to stuff. I played Tenki, grabbing Yamato, set, T-Raw, and pitch Hetsuka. Here goes Magician, grabbing Secrets. Plays a Judgment. At this point I know it's going to be fairly uphill. I knew it was going to be uphill anyway because Prophecy had balked. But there we go. So he grabs Tower. I go Maxi, because the only real time he's going to be special summoning anything. He brings out Justice, I draw a backup Yamato. He activates Justice's effect, grabbing Reaper and something else. I draw another threatening, which is kind of dead at this point. I summon Kagutsuchi. Proceed to beat as much face as I possibly can. Then I go Omega because I know he has the Fate. And set the MST. He activates Tower, drawing his 8th card in hand. Secrets. Activates Life, which I chain MST to, so he doesn't get the summon. Activates one day, which is fine. I draw a Lance. So now my Omega and stuff have even more protection from that Fate. I got Yamato and attack over the face down monster, which turns out to be a magician, giving him judgment. Then I set the Lance and pass. Activate Yamato's effect, discarding Advent and adding Habakiri. He gets more mana advantage. Then plays a judgment. Dark Holes, I don't Lance the Yamato because I wanted to save it by activate Omega's effect. I was expecting him to chain the Fate. Actually no, he couldn't chain the Fate. Doesn't have a spellcaster. But oh well. He plays Power. I go Threatening, so he's wasted it. Sets the Fate. Resolves Judgment. Summoning a Magician. Then discards Power. I draw into Hetsuka. So I reborn the Yamato. Normal Hetsuka. Exceeds into Susanoo. Here goes Fate. I chain Omega and the Lance. So all my monsters are protected from Fate's effect. Activates Susanoo. Grab second Habakiri. Kill Magician. Attack Destroyer and activate Habakiri. Bring up to 4-8. And then attack for game with Omega. This game 1 against Frognark. I opened pretty damn busted. So I immediately go into Yamato, Tensu, Kagutsuchi, just to get as many searches and stuff off as possible. So I add and pitch a Hetsuka, and then search the Advent. At this point I had no idea what he was running, just I always go Hetska first. So he sets one. I drop there and pop his face down, which is good because I couldn't be over it apart from his Kagutsuchi. I gnaw Wolfberg and attempt to swing in for lots of damage, but he has Battle Fader. At this point I know exactly what he's playing and what to do. So I go Susanoo and Tiger King, grab Tenki, which grabs, I think Wolfberg. I'll decide to actually do it, yeah. Yeah, I had Wolfberg. Just because I wanted to have a Dueler on hand. I pitched Murakumo to destroy the Fader, because I know at this point he doesn't have any of his engines set up, and I don't want him tributing for a monarch just yet. Or, well, at all, but don't really have many answers at the moment. He then storms, which is slightly annoying, but it's fine. So I draw another Hetska. So I activate Susanoo, grabbing Yamato. So I start swinging. And on the last biggest attack he drops scores, which I was sort of expecting. After that I activate Tiger King, just so I have a target for Wolfberg in hand if he decides to attack something other than the Tiger King. So I add Habakiri and pitch Hetska for Yamato. Okay, it's at this point he decides to scoop for some reason. So, yeah. So I win game 1, game 2. I open double Veiler, which is pretty damn good against Frog Monarch. Rest of the hand is decidedly meh. Then I draw the second Wolfberg, so everything's fine. So I go Wolfberg, just so if it dies, the second Wolfberg is live. And I go swinging into a Duke Frog like a muppet. So he sets 1, passes. Draw another Hetska. At this point I just try and go in for some damage while I can. Not really fearing the trag too much. So I attack over Duke Frog and he adds Swat Frog. He tribs for Riser. I Veiler so I don't take as much damage. Also apologise for this being a bit laggy, always does when I'm recording replays. So he beats over my Pappy. I draw Hachi, which is another bit of a shit draw. But I have a Wolfpack player and he doesn't have a Veiler, so that's always good. So I go Kagutsuchi, mill 5, I think I mill a Yamato and a Mikasuchi and my last Wolfpack. So that's a pretty shitty mill, but it puts me up to 2-7, so that's not all bad. So we go this Tribon, and then tributes it. For Zacchaeus. Actually no he doesn't, not yet. He sets Dufrog. Must be his turn later. So I summon Hetsuka. Beat face. He searches. Apparently side gen overworked. He drops Meteon, which caused me to shit a brick, and then I remembered I have Veiler, so it's all good. Sets a card, not the overworked, which, looking at his hand now, kind of surprised me. So Ice Go goes Susanoo. I'd have Kiri. Activate and resolve Hachi, destroying the face down card. And then end phase, because I can't get over the Meteon which shuffles itself back into the deck anyway. Goes Dark Hole. I just attached 2 from Kagutsuchi, which I didn't even know you could do. That's all good. I attempt to beat face, he has Fader. I'd have a Kiri pitch Murakumo. Goes Treeborn. This is when he drops Zacchaeus. tries to banish my Yamato, and I just Hetsuka. Just say no. And then he scoops again because he knows I have Hetsuka in hand, and yeah, he could have stalled for another couple of turns, I guess, but I guess he just didn't really, just couldn't really be bothered. So yeah, this has been my discussion slash dueling videos on the new Bujins. So yeah, leave me a comment, let me know what you would do, what your opinions are on these cards. If you've got any builds, please leave a video response. I'd be really interested to see them. But for now, it's been Uzumaki-kun 1, signing out.